Tonight on Y News. Another oil price increase looms this week, but Malacanang says it will not suspend the implementation of fuel excise tax this year. House Makabayan Bloc pushes for 750 pesos national minimum wage hike amid surging prices of basic commodities. Labor Department identifies top 20 companies suspected of engaging in illegal labor contracting practices. House leaders hope to pass the proposed Bangsamoro Basic Law before the Congress adjourns sine die on June 2. Y News begins now.
From the UNTV News and Rescue Command Center in Quezon City, this is Y News.
Good evening. President Rodrigo Duterte fires Government Corporate Counsel Rudolph Philip Jurado for granting gambling franchise. Duterte announced a dismissal during the ceremonial enactment of Ease of Doing Business Act in Malacanang early this evening. He adds the Office of the Government Corporate Counsel must safeguard the legal interest of all government-owned and controlled corporations, their subsidiaries, other corporate offsprings, and government-acquired asset corporations.
May I call the Government Corporate Council now? Nandito ka? Kasi kung nandito ka, lumabas ka. You are fired. I do not need you, and maybe you do not need me. Alam mo yung APECO was granted a franchise, report and everything.
A consumer group urges oil firms to unbundle their price adjustments as another price increase looms this week. Monoxon explains why.
Oil prices are expected to spike anew for the third consecutive week. Oil industry players will increase 65 centavos in gasoline prices, 35 centavos in diesel, and 45 centavos in kerosene. Companies cite low supply coming in from oil exporting countries like Iran and Venezuela, which affects world market prices as the reason for the price adjustment. But the consumer group stresses the public has the right to know how oil firms adjust their prices. They also urge the Department of Energy to issue a policy on unbundling or detailing of petroleum prices to give consumers a sense of transparency.
Kaya magbigay ng ganyang kalaking discount at kumikita pa sila. At least give us the data, no? Justified ba o makatwiran yung presyo ng mga petroleum products.
In response, an energy official says they are set to issue a circular requiring oil firms and stations to report their computation breakdown on cost of product, refining, import, hauler's fee, and fuel excise tax. The Energy Department will also ask the oil companies to provide data for unbundling their base price in a mandatory price display board when adjusting prices.
Kapag nakita natin yung mga detalye ng cost, malalaman natin kung saang paraan tayo mas makakagawa pa ng paraan para mapababa ang kasi yun yung international cost hindi na natin makokontrol eh. At least yung within the area baka meron tayong maitulong pa ang pamahalaan together with the private sector.
DOE eyes finalizing and releasing the circular as soon as possible. The agency also notes probable increase in Russia's and Saudi Arabia's oil production, which will expectedly help in stabilizing fuel prices in the world market. Mon Hokson, UNTV, News and Rescue, Pasay City.
The government will not implement the suspension of excise tax on fuel this year. Meanwhile, Malacanang hopes Congress will not approve any move to suspend the train law. Rosalie Cos explains why.
The Department of Finance clarifies on Monday that the suspension on the imposition of fuel excise tax will be implemented in January 2019 if oil prices continue to spike in the world market and reach $80 per barrel for 3 consecutive months. This is according to the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion, or more commonly known as the Train Law.
It will be the next tranche in 2019 that we will suspend. And it's also hard for us to suspend mid-year because you have already projected in your appropriations, in your revenues, and in your budget those things that you will fund.
DOF also reiterates that the train law contributed only 0.4% in the overall inflation rate in the country, citing better tobacco compliance, crude oil price in world market, devaluation of peso against US dollars, and additional purchasing powers for consumers due to free tuition and lower personal income tax as the driving forces of inflation. The government assures it is doing everything it can to ease the brunt of inflation by enhancing poverty alleviating programs, importation of cheaper fuel from other countries such as Russia, and stricter monitoring of price in markets. And contrary to what others think, a law must be passed in Congress to suspend the train law. However, Malacanang believes this will not prosper in Congress as it will affect ongoing government programs. This include free tuition in state universities and colleges and build infrastructure program.
I hope it is Congress does not do so because meron na talagang projected expenditure for the expected rise in tax intakes, no? But ang hinihingi lang natin, pag-intindi sa taong bayan, masakit po talaga ito, pero kung ititigil naman natin ito, pare-pareho tayong malulugi, no?
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Senate President Vicente Soto III assures they will look into proposals that seek to suspend the implementation of the tax reform for acceleration and inclusion or train law. Soto says they are set to meet with the government economic managers to clarify its provisions.
And I told him that a briefing of the members of the Committee on Ways and Means and Committee on Finance would be ideal.
Meanwhile, Senator Loren Legarda supports calls to hike salaries of workers to mitigate the effect of the surging commodity prices. The House Makabayan bloc is pushing to increase the national minimum wage to 750 pesos. Grace Casin tells us why.
The House of Representatives Makabayan bloc files House Bill number 7787 seeking to raise the national minimum wage amid rising prices of basic commodities. An Akpawis Party List Representative Ariel Casilao says the bill aims to allow workers from all regions of the country to have equal wage and to achieve substantial wage increase based on a 750 peso daily rate. He adds that based on studies, the 512 pesos minimum wage in Metro Manila is no longer sufficient to meet the needs of a family of 6 as the cost of living has now risen to 1,160 pesos. The bill also includes the abolition of the Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board.
Realidad ngayon, pinapatay sa gutom ang mga manggagawa at ang kanilang pamilya. Tingin ko napaka-just at proper yung amount na yan considering na kalahati man lamang yung idadagdag dun sa prevailing family living wage.
Malacanang and the Labor Department meanwhile believe there is no need to scrap the regional wage boards.
That's legally impossible because we cannot impose a national minimum wage now because the regional wage boards were created by law. Congress has to repeal that law and authorize a national wage hike anew.
Ito yung dapat nag-aaral sa mga factors. Dapat yan ang kailangan natin tumulong para ma-determine natin kung may kailangan adjustment o kaya determination of a national minimum wage.
Secretary Bello also assures they will provide recommendations after studying the proposal. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
The Labor Department releases today a list of companies allegedly hiring workers through a labor-only contracting scheme. However, Dole clarifies this is just an initial list and that this is not a shame campaign. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
The Department of Labor and Employment finds 3,377 companies suspected of engaging in illegal contractualization scheme out of nearly 100,000 firms it inspected nationwide. This is in line with President Duterte's Executive Order 51, which prohibits illegal contracting and subcontracting. Dole learns that more than 224,000 employees of the said companies remain contractual, despite President Rodrigo Duterte's instruction to regularize the workers. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III says they already forwarded the list to the President, who earlier warned to close down and revoke the permit of businesses that will not comply to calls to regularize and increase their workers' benefits.
Serious in his advocacy for putting an end to ENDO and at the same time putting an end to illegal and unlawful contractual arrangement.
However, Secretary Bello clarifies the list is not yet complete as they sorely lack labor law compliance officers to inspect the 900,000 business establishments across the country. To date, the department is yet to inspect 800,000 businesses.
Inulit namin yung request namin na dagdagan yung aming labor law compliance officers. Kasi physically impossible na itself with 574 inspectors, mag-i-inspect ka ng 900,000.
Dole also insists the move is not aimed at shaming the companies violating labor laws as this is part of government reforms. Dole further assures it will closely monitor the top 20 firms with most number of contractual employees to ensure they will comply to the order to regularize 10% of their workers each year.
If they will submit to us a regularization program of regularizing 10% of their total workforce, to us, the Department of Labor, this will be reasonable.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Former Senator Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. urges the Presidential Electoral Tribunal to apply the 50% threshold in determining the validity of votes in the ongoing vice presidential race recount. Mai Bermudez tells us why.
Former Senator Bongbong Marcos personally files today his 13-page comment or opposition asking the Supreme Court, acting as the Presidential Electoral Tribunal, to deny Vice President Leni Robredo's motion to apply the 25% threshold amid the vice presidential race recount. Marcos insists there is no categorical declaration in the COMELEC Resolution number 16-0600 indicating that the 25% threshold or any manual audit guidelines or report can be used. He adds the resolution also did not mention that the 25% shading threshold was adopted in determining the valid votes during the judicial recount and revision of ballots in an election protest.
Kasi kung titignan naman natin, si Aquino nanalo 50% ang ginamit na shading. Si Jojo Binay 50% ang nanalo, 50% ang ginamit na shading. Si Duterte 50% ang ginamit na shading sa kanyang pagpanalo. Lahat ng congressman, lahat ng governor, lahat ng vice governor, lahat ng vice mayor, lahat ng konsehal, lahat ng bukal, mula nung nagsimula ang AES ay nanalo ginamit ang 50% shading.
The said resolution was cited by Robredo in her appeal, arguing that the failure to apply the 25% threshold would disenfranchise voters. Marcos claims the vice president is attempting to change the recount rules.
Robredo wants to change the rules and have a special situation only for her, which he is only doing in the middle of the recount. Kaya kataka-taka kung bakit kailangan extra special ang rules para sa kanya.
But Robredo's camp insists the 50% shading threshold was not used in the 2016 national and local elections based on the Anbank resolution and upon the recommendation of Commissioner Louis de Guia. They also accused Marcos as the one trying to change the rules. Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Department of Education and other agencies emphasize safety and disaster preparedness as it rolls out its annual Brigada Eskwela nationwide this week. Gladys Tuabi will tell us why.
Teachers, parents, and volunteers from various groups jointly cleaned up PNP-CIDG Elementary School in Cebu today in preparation for the upcoming class opening. Teachers and students were also taught to be prepared in the event of calamity like typhoon and floods. While instructors in Daan Para Elementary School in Orion listened intently during the disaster preparedness seminar, held by the UNTV News and Rescue team as requested by the school administration.
Makakatulong po ng malaki sa amin yan. Kaya nga po nung nalaman namin na kami ang beneficiary nyo sa ganitong seminar, inano ko nga po lahat sa mga teachers, so tuwan-tuwa naman po.
In Davao, the Education Department called for more volunteers in this year's Brigada Eskwela. to quickly complete repair works in schools. More than 800 members from the department, teachers, local government and private units, parents and even students joined the start of the annual maintenance week. DepEd also urged these students not to skip classes in the first week of the school year. It also recognized the members Church of God International for continuously supporting the Brigada Escuela in the region. While in Laguna, the PNP Calabarzon Health Service distributed flyers containing tips on how to prevent common illnesses during the school days.
Ito'y paghahanda para sa darating na pasukan. Part na talaga ito ng aming commitment sa ating mga estudyante, sa ating mga guro, katulong ng DepEd at iba pang members ng local government.
In Tacloban, students will have longer hours of studying because of the temporary learning space installed in Villa Sofia, Barangay Tagpuro. The residents of Villa Sofia are thankful because it will save a lot of money and travel time and encourages students to come to school.
Based on concerns and parents and iba din nga mga teachers tikang dito, nagbabakta sila yung kabataan, ang grado affected, di na nabalik.
Gladys Tuwabi, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Members Church of God International joins Brigada Escuela in Metro Manila and other areas. Leslie Longbowen will tell us why.
In preparation for the opening of classes, the Members Church of God International went to various schools in Metro Manila today, including General Rojas Elementary School, Nangka Elementary School, Ninoy Aquino Senior High School, Pasig Central Elementary School, Manuel Quezon Elementary School, Ramon Avancenia High School, and Francisco Felix Elementary School. This is to help clean classrooms and comfort rooms, repair broken chairs, and repaint walls.
Naturuan po kasi kami ng kapatid na Eli at ni Kuya Daniel Roson na gumawa ng mabuti sa lahat. Kaya yun po yung isa sa mga nagtulak po sa amin para gawin po ang proyektong po ito.
MCGI also reached out to schools outside of Metro Manila. In Sampaloc Elementary School in Napalit, Pampanga, 3 rooms were repainted. While in Palawan, rains didn't stop the group to take part in the Brigada Escuela today. 9 schools were successfully cleaned. Meanwhile, the school heads are grateful for the help they received.
Po ay lubos na nagpapasalamat sa inyo sa pag-heed ng call namin to be part of Brigada Escuela 2018.
Na po ako nagiging nag-benefit sa inyong suporta at tulong. Kahit po hindi brigada, nandito yung mga grupo ninyong.
Leslie Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Malacanang sees no conflict of interest in the 150 million peso worth of government contracts awarded to the security firm owned by the family of Solicitor General Jose Calida. The palace explains Soljan Calida has resigned as the chairman and president of the Vigilant Investigative and Security Agency before he assumed government post. Malacanang believes the issue is being floated by groups slamming Calida for filing co-warrant petition against former Supreme Court Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno.
Kayo naman, alam niyo naman kung bakit lumalabas yung mga pula na yan kay Soljan Calida. Nanalo kasi siya doon sa co-warrant petition niya. Binabawian siya ng mga kalaban niya, no? Yung mga nasaktan doon sa ruling ng co-warrant. Obvious naman yan.
Meanwhile, Criminal Investigation and Detection Group Director Roel Ubusan and Drug Enforcement Group Chief Alberto Ferro are set to leave for Taiwan this week to work on the deportation of former Ozami City Councilor Ricardo Ardot Paruhinog. PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde says they will directly coordinate with the Taiwanese police to expedite the process. However, it may take 2 months before Paruhinog can be turned over to the Philippines as he still needs to face raps for illegal entry. MRT3 operation suffers another glitch this morning. In an advisory, the management explains one of the train's door malfunction between Magallanes and Ayala stations, prompting them to enforce provisional service from North Avenue to Shaw Boulevard Station. The MRT operation normalized after 30 minutes. The management reminds its passengers to avoid prying doors to prevent any system failure. Joan Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Next on Y News. The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency seizes 1 million worth of illegal drugs in Muntinlupa City. Land Management Bureau assures digital copies of land records after a fire hits its building. And the PNP responders and Senate Sentinels maintain its lead in the UNTV Cup off-season executive face-off eliminations, while DOJ Justice Boosters successfully enters the win column. Y News will be right back. The Muntinlupa Regional Trial Court Branch 205 has denied the request of Senator Laila de Lima to attend her youngest son's graduation at San Beda College, Alabang on June 3. In denying her very urgent motion for furlough, presiding Judge Amelia Fabros Corpus ruled that de Lima cannot be given a different treatment as that of other prisoners. Attorney Bonnie Tacardon said they are both surprised and saddened by the denial, since they are expecting the judge to understand the plight of the mother and son, because graduating from law school is an important milestone in the life of an aspiring lawyer. He said the fears of the court about the security of the occasion is not within their control. He said they are filing a motion for reconsideration tomorrow. House leaders hope to pass the proposed Bangsamoro Basic Law before the Congress adjourns sine die on June 2. They would also let the President decide on some disagreeing issues on the bill. Grace Casin explains why.
During the all-member caucus today at the House of Representatives, House Majority Floor Leader Rudy Fariñas reports to his colleagues that the Bangsamoro Transition Commission, or BTC, agreed on several proposed amendments. This include the creation of Bangsamoro Police, composed of members of the Moro Islamic and Moro National Liberation Fronts under the Philippine National Police.
They agreed na all the defense, police, Coast Guard will be retained retained by the national government. Magkakaroon ng police region in Bangsamoro pero under the PNP pa rin.
Fariñas adds they will let President Rodrigo Duterte decide on some contentious BBL provisions like the opt-in.
May mga counter proposals, so we would want to hear directly from the President kung ano yung final position niya, and then the President will be meeting with us, the Speaker, myself, and the Senate President and our counterparts para pag-usapan itong BBL mamaya.
Anak Mindanao Party List Representative Amhilda Sangcopan meanwhile hopes the Congress will pass a bill that will certainly benefit the people in Mindanao and not a watered-down version.
Sana ang maipasa natin ay bitbit nito ang aspiration ng Bangsamoro.
Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
The government assures it will investigate the reported anti-drug operation that killed 9 members of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front in North Cotabato. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says the MILF has filed a formal protest over the operation that was carried out by the joint forces of the police and military. On Friday, authorities served a search warrant in Barangay Quilada against 2 subjects suspected of operating a drug den. But it turned into an hour-long firefight after suspects allegedly fired at them.
Magkakaroon po ng investigasyon. Antayin muna po natin kung anong resulta ng investigasyon, kung totoo na ilan sa mga miyembro ng MILF ay nadawit sa pangangalakal ng droga.
The Senate asks the Health Department to detail the programs under the 1.16 billion peso supplemental budget to be used for the dengue vaccinees. Nel Maribuhok tells us why.
The Department of Health intends to allot a huge chunk of its 1.16 billion peso supplemental budget for the medical assistance of the children inoculated with dengue, while over 148 million pesos will be allocated for the monitoring of the vaccinees. The 1.16 billion peso supplemental budget will come from the amount refunded by the Sanofi Pasteur for the unused dengue vaccines. But during a Senate hearing earlier, the senators want further details on the said programs presented by the DOH to ensure the amount will fully benefit more than 800,000 vaccinees.
Ito'y medical assistance para sa mga nabiktima at mga na-vaccinate na hindi pa man nararamdaman yung epekto pero baka maramdaman na wag naman sana sa mga darating na panahon. Kaya ang mga check-up, ang vitamins, ganun, ay sakop nito.
Lahat ng ospital, mayroon silang computer na nakalagay lahat ang pangalan. All over the Philippines yan, may program para pag pumasok at bata, i-checking kagad kung dengue, mako-cover na kagad yan.
According to Finance Committee Chairperson Senator Loren Legarda, the use of the funds should not be delayed to prevent corruption.
Kaya gusto ko sana may taning na ito'y dapat magastos sa ganitong panahon.
The Senate is just awaiting the approved House version to reconcile it with the Senate's version of the proposed supplemental budget. The Congress is expected to approve the bill before it adjourns Sine Die on June 2. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
The National Privacy Commission allays fears that the Philippine identification system may be used to pose threat to security and privacy of a person. Here's why from Monokson.
As the Congress prepares to ratify the National ID System Bill, the National Privacy Commission assures public that no data breach will happen during its implementation. The agency explains they are preparing different measures to protect public data, including information storage and data access. Though there are privacy risks involved in collecting a large amount of information, the NPC says the concerned agencies should help each other and that enough budget will be appropriated to ensure info security.
So government at the same time, and I think that is where DBM will come in, should be ready to invest in putting in place the security measures.
The bill mandates the Philippine Statistics Authority as the lead agency in implementing the Philippine ID System or PhilSys, while the Department of Information and Communications Technology or DICT serves as the technological partner. DICT says it prepared ways to avoid scam registration and to penalize anyone who will intentionally apply for ID twice. Information will also not be easily shared without the consent of the owner.
Without your permission, hindi nila makuha yan. So talagang kung anong gusto mong ibigay na impormasyon, yun lang ang pwedeng, may nakuha silang impormasyon na hindi mo binigay, they will be liable. So protektado talaga ang ating mga kababayan.
The Budget Department has allocated 2 billion pesos to the PSA for the implementation of the ID system, as it awaits the implementing rules and regulations for the enactment and full implementation of the law. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency arrests an Indian national and a Filipino during an entrapment operation in Muntinlupa City. Here's why from Joan Nano.
Authorities seized an estimated 1 million peso worth of illegal drugs from an Indian national and a Filipino arrested in an entrapment operation carried out by the members of the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency at Alabang Hills Village, Barangay Kupang, Muntinlupa City. The suspects were identified as Rajiv Gidwani and Jeremiah Alero Carillo. According to PIDEA Director General Aaron Aquino, police confiscated from the duo packs of ecstasy tablets, liquid ecstasy and high-grade marijuana named Kush and Hashish.
Kung a normal marijuana is worth 100 pesos per gram, this Kush is worth 1,000 to 1,500 grams. So based on the statement of the suspect,
for 2 months, authorities have been closely monitoring the suspects who are both known drug pushers. It was also revealed that regular patrons of the two include actors, models, politicians, and other moneyed personalities. Police also arrested the 64-year-old father of Rajiv Gidwani for violation of Article 212, corruption of public officials, after he tried to bribe authorities with 1 million in exchange for his son's release.
initially, kasi matanda na at saka tatay, basic instinct yun, naawa kami. Pero may binitawan siyang salita eh. Sabi niya, pag hindi niyo tanggapin yan, gagawa ako ng paraan para makaglabas yung anak ko. Babayaran ko kay sino. Kaya we decided to arrest him. Kasi baka may tatanggap pa eh.
The suspects are facing charges for violating the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. John Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Philippine National Police nabs a woman and 3 foreigners in separate operations in Quezon and Pasay cities. Victor Cosare tells us why.
The Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation and Detection Group arrests a key suspect for allegedly defrauding several victims through a purported lending business. CIDG Chief Police Director Roel Obusan says Margarita Huang, who is facing 12 counts of estafa, was arrested on Friday in Quezon City. Obusan notes Huang has been arrested in 2016 but was released after arranging a settlement with her victims. Huang is accused of using the Comfoods lending to collect money from the victims amounting to 100,000 to 3 million pesos by promising a 4 to 15% monthly earning. The victims filed complaints when they can no longer find Huang and her family.
After 3 weeks kong binigay sa iyo yung pera ko, nawala ka. Walang hiya ka.
Inutangan po ako niyang 200. Sabi niya may, may 200,000? May ano daw, may porsyento daw na 5%. Tapos kaya inuutosan pa niya ako, mag-inganyo pa ng ibang investor na mag-recruit daw ako para may porsyento daw ako.
Comfoods or Commonwealth Foods Incorporated has earlier denied any involvement in the investment scheme of Huang. Meanwhile, the PNP-CIDG also nabs in an entrapment operation 3 foreigners over black dollar scam. A Chinese sought the help of CIDG NCR after the suspects swindled more than 5 million pesos from him after they promised to transform the Philippine bills into US dollars by using certain chemicals.
Gagawa sila ng itsurang pera.
Okay.
Para madali lang kakaskasin. Pagkakaskas, ay hindi naman actually nakatago yung isang tunay na $100. Yung dollars ang pagko-convertan. Ipapakita sa'yo dito sa banda rito yung paano kaskasin yung isang ganyan. So pagkatapos ng kaskasan, mabilis yung kamay niya. Ang may papakita sa'yo, yung tunay.
The suspects are facing syndicated estafa, counterfeiting, and assault upon agents of persons in authority. Victor Cosare, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Land Management Bureau office in Manila allays the public's worries over documents following a fire incident. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
Flames engulfed the more than 8-decade-old building of the Land Management Bureau or LMB in Plaza Cervantes, Binondo, Manila at past midnight today. Bureau of Fire Protection's initial report states that fire reached Task Force Bravo, which rapidly spread to adjacent residential area and 2 other commercial buildings.
Nakaupo-upo kami dyan sa labas, tulog ang asawa ko. Pagkuhan ko, sabi ko, Jun, binabato tayo dito ah. Nakita na namin, sabi ko, Jun, nasusunog na yun ah. Ay, tawag kang bumbero.
Piles of documents were burned in the fire, but DNR Undersecretary Benny Antiporda assures the public need not to be concerned as this only serve as backup records from regional offices. The LMB is an attached agency of the DNR that recommends programs and policies to the Department for government-owned lands which are not under government agencies such as the Boracay Island. Authorities estimate damages reaching to 100 million pesos as equipments for land record digitalization were also burned down.
Wala tayong dapat ipag-alala. So meron man, it will be minimal.
Meanwhile, 3 fire volunteers were reportedly injured in the incident while no loss of life was recorded. Following the incident, the DNR will install help desks in their regional office in Visayas Avenue, Quezon City for those who need their documents. Ray Pelayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
The song entitled Pagpabalik advances to the grand finals of a Song of Praise or ASAP Songwriting Competition Year 7. Leslie Longbowen explains why.
The entry of printing company operations manager Joel Habelosa is the 7th song to qualify to the grand finals of a Song of Praise or ASAP Year 7. This after judges chose his song entitled Pagbabalik to win in last night's tough monthly finals. The juries only had words of appreciation for Joel's composition, which he attributes to the commentaries he received during weekly elimination.
Sir Joel, napakaganda nung kanta, nung music. Talagang kitang-kita at ramdam na talagang pinaghandaan nyo ang ating monthly finals.
Klarong-klaro, ang lakas ng recall, maliwanag ang mensahe, song sections mo, talagang mararamdaman mo yung build-up.
Gusto ko yung appeal na masa, itong kanta na to. In terms to ng kung ilang tao makaka-relate, paligay ko, 99.9 to.
Joel feels very honored that his first song entry won.
Walang mapaglagyan yung aking saya. So, siguro mamaya pag-uwi ko sa bahay, ang una kong gagawin, magdadasal. Papasalamat.
Leslie Longboan, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
PNP responders and Senate Sentinels maintain its lead in the UNTV Cup off-season executive face-off eliminations, while DOJ Justice Boosters successfully enter the win column. Bernard Dadis explains why.
Angara, libre,
Reigning champion AFP Cavaliers suffers another stinging defeat after Senate Sentinels blocked them as they tried to muscle their way to the win column. During yesterday's main game at the Pasig City Sports Center, Senate senior Cagers employed every move in their book to stop the Cavaliers from claiming their first victory, 79-77. The Cavaliers tried to claim the lead during last quarter's remaining 45.9 seconds. The Sentinels pounded on and rolled out a 5-0 run, stopping AFP score at 77. The buzzer sounded with Sentinels claiming third straight win and Cavaliers still with 0 victory.
Yung mga ganitong games kailangan namin to toughen us more, di ba? So yung mga ganitong klaseng panalo na grinding kami sa all throughout the game, yun ang kailangan namin talaga.
The game hails as best players Warren Tan, who scored 23 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 steals, and Ryan Neal Endaya, who finished with 20 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks.
There's a team fouls. Ball taken away though. They miss the breakaway.
PNP responders and judiciary matches also rendered a heart-pounding second game, with judiciary claiming early lead. But the responders scrambled Magis defense during second half by executing fast break attack, crushing the latter 81-75.
Salamat sa lahat ng players. Nakikinig sila dun sa dinidesign namin. Talagang nagsipag sila. They play with heart. Talagang puso yung pinairal nila kahit na medyo pagod na. Pinipilit nila.
Resistensya, siguro kinapos yung mga players dito. Pagdating ng huli, tinakbo na kami ng fast break eh.
Police Superintendent Joshua Alejandro is the best player of the game with 26 points finish, 3 rebounds and 1 steal and block each. DOJ Justice Boosters, meanwhile, tallied its first win after routing GSIS Thunder Furies 75-43. Assistant State Prosecutor Charlie Guhit claims Best Player title by contributing 11 points and 2 rebounds.
Kita namin yung mga mali namin the last time, no? Kinapos kami ng hangin, so kailangan talaga ensayo. You have to get the energy to finish, to have it until the end game.
Bernard Dadis, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Up next on Y News. A Maryland city declares state of emergency in the wake of massive flooding. A Malian migrant scales building in Paris to save a dangling child. And LeBron James leads Cleveland Cavaliers past Boston Celtics and back to the NBA Finals. Stay tuned for William Thio. I'm Angelo, Castro III. Good evening.
Good evening. Here are the top stories on Y News Tonight. Fuel prices are expected to spike anew this week. Oil industry players estimate nearly 1 peso increase in gasoline prices, while 40 centavos for diesel and 50 centavos in kerosene due to low supply from oil exporting countries. But a consumer group stresses the public has the right to know how oil firms adjust their prices. They also urge the Department of Energy to issue a policy on unbundling or detailing of petroleum prices to give consumers a sense of transparency. In response, the Energy Department is set to issue a circular requiring oil firms to support their cost of product refining, import, hauler's fee, and fuel excise tax. The oil companies are also asked to provide data for unbundling their base price in a mandatory price display board. DOEI is finalizing and releasing the circular as soon as possible.
Kapag nakita natin yung mga detalye ng cost, malalaman natin kung saang paraan tayo mas makakagawa pa ng paraan para mapababa ang kasi yun yung international cost, hindi na natin makokontrol eh. At least yung within the area, baka meron tayong maitulong pa ang pamahalaan together with the private sector.
Meanwhile, House Makabayan Bloc files a proposal seeking to raise the national minimum wage amidst rising prices of basic commodities. Anakpawi's party list representative Ariel Casilao says the bill aims to allow workers from all regions of the country to have equal wage and to achieve substantial wage increases based on a 750 peso daily rate. The bill also includes the abolition of the regional tripartite wages and productivity boards.
Realidad ngayon, pinapatay sa gutom ang mga manggagawa at ang kanilang pamilya.
Tingin ko napaka-just at proper yung amount na yan, considering na kalahati man lamang yung idadagdag dun sa prevailing family living wage.
Malacanang, however, believes there is no need to scrap the regional wage boards.
Impossible because we cannot impose a national minimum wage now because the regional wage boards were created by law. Congress has to repeal that law and authorize a national wage hike anew.
The Labor Department finds over 3,000 companies engaging in illegal contractualization scheme out of nearly 100,000 firms it inspected nationwide in line with President Duterte's Executive Order 51, which prohibits illegal contracting and subcontracting. DOLE learns that more than 224,000 employees of the said companies remain contractual despite instructions to regularize the workers. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III says they already forwarded the list to the President, who earlier warned to close down and revoke the permits of businesses that will not comply to calls to regularize and increase their workers' benefits. However, Secretary Bello clarifies the list is still incomplete and that they still need to inspect 800,000 businesses.
Inulit namin yung request namin na dagdagan yung aming labor law compliance officers. Kasi physically possible na with 574 inspectors, mag-i-inspect ka ng 900,000.
In other news, House leaders hope to pass the proposed Bangsamoro Basic Law before the Congress adjourns sine die on June 2. During an all-member caucus today, House Majority Floor Leader Rudy Fariñas reports that the Bangsamoro Transition Commission agreed on several proposed amendments, including the creation of the Bangsamoro Police. Fariñas adds that they will let President Rodrigo Duterte decide on some contentious PBL parts like the opt-in provisions.
May mga counter proposals, so we would want to hear directly from the President kung ano yung final position niya, and then the President will be meeting with us, the Speaker, myself, and the Senate President and our counterparts para pag-usapan itong BBL.
The Philippine National Police or PNP arrests a key suspect for allegedly defrauding several victims through a purported lending business in Quezon City on Friday. CIDG Chief PDIR Roel Obusan says Margarita Huang, who is facing 12 counts of estafa, is accused of using the ComFoods lending to collect money from the victims amounting to 100,000 to 3 million pesos by promising a 4 to 15% a monthly earning. ComFoods, or Commonwealth Foods Incorporated, has earlier denied involvement in the investment scheme of Huang. Meanwhile, the PNP-CIDG entrapment operation also nabs 3 foreigners over backdollar scam. The suspects are facing syndicated estafa, counterfeiting, and assault upon agent of persons in authority.
Gagawa sila ng itsurang pera.
Okay.
Para madali lang kakaskasin. Nakatago yung isang tunay na $100. Ipapakita sa'yo dito sa banda rito yung paano kaskasin yung isang ganyan. So pagkatapos ng kaskasan, mabilis yung kamay niya. Ang may papakita sa'yo, yung tunay.
And for the news abroad, here's Amiel Pascual live from Zhubei City, Taiwan. Good evening, Amiel.
Thank you, William. China voices strong dissatisfaction after 2 U.S. warships sailed by an island claimed by Beijing in the disputed South China Sea. In a statement, Chinese Foreign Ministry expressed resolute opposition to the U.S. sail-by of the territory on Sunday. The U.S. military conducts what it calls freedom of navigation voyages in the South China Sea to contest Beijing's assertion of the territorial rights in the area. The operation was conducted just over a week after Beijing flew nuclear-capable bombers to a disputed island in a bold power play to show its military might and boost its territorial claims in the area. Meanwhile, President Moon Jae-in will likely attend possible summit between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. According to the Blue House, any attendance by Mr. Moon would be dependent on the progress of pre-summit talks between the U.S. and North Korean leaders. The historic meeting is scheduled to take place on June 12 in Singapore. It has been recently thrown into uncertainty after Trump said he would no longer be attending. But both sides have since been working to get it back on track. Hundreds of passengers are stranded at Stansted Airport while the city of Ellicott in Maryland declares a state of emergency. Beverly Saison tells us why.
Heavy rain and severe flooding made streets in Ellicott City, Maryland look like river on Sunday. Videos uploaded to social media showed completely flooded street, stranded cars, and people trapped in buildings looking through windows as water flowed by. Local media reported up to 8 inches of rain had fallen on Ellicott City in only 2 hours. First responders arrived to the scene to rescue people trapped on buildings around the area. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan had declared a state of emergency. Storm Alberto lashed the western Cuban region of Artemisa on Sunday, swelling a nearby river and dumping up to 12 centimeters of rain in less than 8 hours. According to local media, some families were evacuated, but the rain and flooding were quick to hit. Central regions of Cuba like Villa Clara were also affected. Subtropical storm Alberto is driving north through the Gulf of Mexico, threatening heavy rains and winds to the U.S. southern coastal states. London Stansted Airport delayed, diverted, and canceled some flights on Sunday after a lightning strike on an aircraft fueling system during storms that unleashed more than 64,000 thunderbolts. British skies were lit up by the electric storms overnight, and there were reports of flooding and homes left without power after torrential rain. The fueling system was repaired on Sunday morning, but passengers were warned to check before traveling, and passengers stuck on planes complained on Twitter that they were not given proper explanations for the delays. Beverly Saison, UNTV News and Rescue.
Those are the news making headlines around the globe. Back to you, William.
Thank you very much, Amiel Pascual from Zhubei City, Taiwan, live. Cristiano Ronaldo hints at playing his last game for Real Madrid after winning a 4th Champions League crown with the Spanish side. Meanwhile, LeBron James leads the Cavaliers again to reach the NBA Finals. Asher Kadapan Jr. will tell us why.
LeBron James had 35 points, 15 rebounds, and 9 assists to send the Cleveland Cavaliers back to the NBA Finals after an 87-79 win against the Boston Celtics in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals last Sunday night. James has reached the NBA Finals in 8 straight seasons, including 4 in a row with Cleveland. Only Bill Russell, Tom Hainson, and Sam Jones have made more consecutive appearances in NBA history. The Cavaliers will play the winner of Monday's Game 7 of the West Finals between Houston and Golden State. Cleveland has faced the Warriors in the last 3 NBA Finals, winning in 2016 and losing in 2015 and 2017.
I mean, at the end of the day, the game is won in between the lines, and we have an opportunity to compete for a championship. So, I mean, that's all that matters. No matter, what the storyline is going to be, no matter, if we're picked to win or not. I mean, let's just go out and play ball. We're going to have a great game plan.
Chris Froome became the first Briton to win the Giro d'Italia title after coming through final processional stage in Rome. Riding in the grueling race for the first time since 2010, Froome added the one Grand Tour missing from his collection. Froome finished 46 seconds ahead of Dutch defending champion Tom Dumoulin in the overall standings. The 33-year-old joined cycling greats Eddy Merckx and Bernard Hinault as one of only 3 riders to capture all 3 Grand Tours in succession. Real Madrid players celebrated their 3rd consecutive Champions League with thousands of fans at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. Real Madrid supporters urged Cristiano Ronaldo to stay at the club during celebration as he was given a hero's welcome at the Bernabeu. Ronaldo had overshadowed Madrid's 3-1 win over Liverpool in Saturday's final in Kiev to lift a record-extending 13th European Cup by dropping a hint that he was about to leave the club in an interview moments after collecting the trophy. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue.
Iconic Sydney Opera House and other landmarks in Australia burst forth with vibrant colors, while a field full of thousands of poppies open in Washington. Leslie Longbowen tells us why.
The iconic Sydney Opera House and other landmarks burst forth with vibrant color and effervescence as the annual Vivid Light Festival celebrated its 10th birthday. Visitors were urged to enter a world of childish delight as the famous sails of the Opera House were projected with imagery inspired by the Australian environment, and the harbour was bathed in laser lighting. The facade of Customs House was illuminated with the iconic Australian children's book characters Snugglepot and Cuddlepie, celebrating 100 years since the release of the book by author and illustrator May Gibbs. The 23-night event features more than 90 light installations across Sydney. A wall containing hundreds of thousands of poppies was unveiled in Washington in honor of fallen service members. Named the Poppy Memorial, the wall spans 133 feet and is filled with 645,000 poppies. Each flower represents a person who died in U.S. military service since World War I. Engineers and designers presented an array of groundbreaking products at the Viva Tech conference in Paris. Amongst the stall focused on tech giants like Google and Facebook were startups and younger companies like robot developer InMove. InMove founder Gael Langevin said his creation was the first open-source 3D printed life-size robot. After beginning work on a prosthetic hand in 2011, Langevin went on to construct further technology, putting the code for each body part online for all to use.
The students, they download the parts, they reproduce the robot. It's free, okay? They work on it. It's an open source free robot.
Langevin hopes by sharing the technology, he can prompt people to focus on using robotics for good as opposed to firms looking for profitable robots. Another manufacturer, Cyberdroid, hopes to use its semi-humanoid robot to help in hospitals or care homes. Leslie Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue.
A Malian migrant has been hailed a hero after he scaled the front of a building in Paris to save a child hanging from a fourth-floor balcony. Video of Mamoudou Gassama's spectacular rescue went viral on social media. In less than a minute, he pulls himself from balcony to balcony and grabs the 4-year-old as a neighbor tries to hold the child from an adjoining flat. President Emmanuel Macron has invited Mr. Gassama to the Élysée Place on Monday to thank him personally. Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo also praised the 22-year-old's heroism and said she had called him to thank him. Those are the reasons behind the news, May 28, 2018. I am William Thio, and because we need to know, we will always ask why. Thank you for watching Y News.